order the Manatee County Transportation Disadvantage meeting. Good morning, everyone. It is February 5th. It is 10 a.m. right on the dot. We're calling this meeting to order. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Right, so now it's everybody's favorite time. We'll go around and introduce ourselves for the confirmation of the quorum. We will start, I will start, and then my name is Brett Gotcha. I am the vice chair and I work for the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. Go this way to Mr. Rick.
I'm Rick Wellenberger, a citizen advocate user.
Brenda Garden, Agency for Healthcare Administration.
Alida Munjik, Department of Children and Families.
Christina Melling, the Senior Connection Center.
Christina Cat, I'm manager.
Katie Shepherd with MCAT, Customer Service Supervisor.
Stormy Bird, MCAT, Transit Superintendent.
Benita Czar, MCAT Operations Chief.
Jack Ruart, Manatee County Veteran Services, Veteran Affairs.
Trisha O'Brien, Meals on Wheels Plus, Director of Operations and Logistics.
Victoria Up the Grove, Transit Projects Coordinator for Department of Transportation.
Thank you.
And Gonzalez, Career Source Suncoast Ticket to Work Program.
David Machado, Fiscal Manager, MPO.
We're good with the quorum, Rachel?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, we will now open the meeting for public comment, including any comments on agenda items. On the screen, you'll see the three ways for the public to provide input to the LCB. All comments received will be shared with the committee members and made part of the public record. Rachel, do we have any public comments?
Yeah.
Seeing none, we will move on. The first item on the agenda is item 4, the adoption of minutes from the November 6th, 2024 Manatee County LCB meeting. We've all had a chance to take a look, as I know they were emailed. I will entertain a motion to adopt the minutes for November 6th.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Kim.
Second.
And we had a fight for the second. We'll go Christina on this one. We'll leave Alida for the next one. You'll have your opportunity. So seeing that we have a motion and a second, is there anyone opposed? Ready, if all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it, the motion passes. Right along to our action items. I'm starting with 5A, the approval of the Manatee LCB bylaws. Mr. David will present on this item.
Well, this is, as you, the ones that've been here for years now know that this comes up, every year. It is required to every year for them to be updated. This year, we pretty much didn't have any updates to the actual, bylaws, so it's just a date update and for you guys to approve. Short and sweet today.
Perfect. Short and sweet is good. Alida, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, Alida makes a motion. I don't want you to feel left out.
I got it.
I'll second.
All right, Jack, thank you for seconding.
Everybody was actually looking at it.
I know. Yes. It's this fun I bring to the meetings where I get voted back in without being here. Do we have a second? Oh, Jackie said, sorry, I'm, all those in favor of adopting, the 2025 Manatee bylaw, Manatee County LCB bylaw, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it. Moving right along to 5B, which is the approval of the Manatee County LCB grievance procedures. David, once again, will present on this item.
Same thing as the bylaws, nothing really changed, just a date change, and obviously I forgot to mention it before this one. the change from the chair from Jason Bearden to Commissioner Cruz is not gonna be the chair. And pretty much that's it. I think, yeah, my title was the previous title as fiscal coordinator, I was updated fiscal manager. So, yeah, that was the only real changes to that.
Okay. Any questions for David before we vote? Seeing none, a motion, if I could please have somebody motion to approve the 2025 Manatee LCB agreement procedures.
I make a motion.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you, Alita. Although if there is any discussion, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. Right. Okay, additional action items, 5C is nominations approval of the Executive Evaluation and Grievance Committee. Last year's committee was. It was Commissioner Bearden, who seems like it would probably be Commissioner Cruz now, myself, him, Jack, and Christina. We were the committee if you knew it or not. Do we want, then would anybody else like to join, have any questions, anybody felt like it took too much of their time? Which we didn't have a grievance, that was.
That's a good thing.
I don't remember, I don't think we had one, if any,
No.
ever, right?
Has risen up to a level, no.
I'm happy to continue, that's.
Are you good? Rick, would you like to be on, would you want to go as a community advocate?
Sure.
I'm just going to, I think that might, is it, should we add another person, or would one of us have to go away?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to, there's no limit to how many people. See, that's kind of how we went, we asked.
Well, I just think it'd be nice, like, cause a lot of us come from state, different agencies, but it's really not much to have, since we do have a citizen advocate, I think, especially for grievances, you could provide a good voice. Great. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay, so for the rest of us, we are going to nominate. Do I have to be nominated as vice chair, or am I just on it because I? Okay, so myself, Kim, Jack, Christina, and Rick, I will nominate as 2025 grievance committee members. Does anybody else like to be added or discussion?
Would be added.
Would you like to be added? Okay, I'm sorry, I go, and Brenda. We are getting quite a committee, so that is good, absolutely, so, and we're adding Brenda Gordon.
So this is also include the evaluation committee. And that's using 2 hours.
So it is, yeah, so we said there would be, so if you go 2-hour commitment for sure once a year,
I can't speak yet until I speak to the agency.
okay,
Obviously, it's not. We ask that everybody be there for the evaluation, it's not, oh, you have to be there,
Yeah.
so.
I will say, as a member of the evaluation committee for several years, I think it's really valuable time spent going over those materials and really kind of getting more in depth, and then also calling people who are using the service and getting their feedback is really helpful for being a member of the board. So I encourage participation. I think it's worth the time.
I agree too, it gives you a background too, and what they may ask you and.
You get the opportunity to put them, all them on the spot.
Yes.
What better than that?
so that's very good, I think that's a good point. We did have, well, I think we all had to call, was it like there was a list, 15, 20 people. It's like a short survey, and it is like you actually do is, if you'd like, to take a little more active role on the board, get the participants' perspective of, the challenges they're facing and things like that. So, it was kind of all in your own time, so, but we can, Brenda, if you'd like, we can kind of put you on and then see what happens after you talk to it.
Sure.
Cause I know for a lot of us, if we have more people calling, that's, now that's probably down, less.
Surveys.
Don't feel bad. I know in the past we've had people join
Then they.
and never,
Yeah. Yeah.
never even remember that they were part of it.
Overall.
Yeah, there you go. We surprised Jack.
I remember
this
the
morning.
phone call.
Yeah. And you probably, and now we're putting it's putting the dots together. Why did I get those phone calls? Okay, so, once again, I'll go around, we'll go, Kim, Jack, Christina, Brenda, Rick, and myself. Those are the nominees. Any additional discussion? See none, somebody who is not on the board, if you could please put the motion to, Victoria, I'm gonna call you your new, this one for all the members, a motion to approve the board, okay.
Motion to approve the board.
We have a second,
I'll second.
alright. So all those, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the 2025 Executive Evaluation Grievance Committee is confirmed. Congratulations, everyone. It was a hard fought election.
Is there champagne?
That's right.
There's donuts and coffee.
This Popping water.
Thank you, because I can kind of second Stina's, it is very nice to kind of get to see what we do in action and it is a limited, not a lot of time, but it is very worthwhile. So thank you for all those continuing to do it. All right, the next agenda item is presentations. First is 6A, Community Transportation Coordinator Report. Manatee MCAG Quarterly Report. Benita and Katie will present.
Actually, will be Stormy and Katie.
Okay,
Stormy Bird took over my position as the transit superintendent, and I was promoted to ops chief, so.
congratulations.
Nice, well deserved.
Thank you.
Good morning. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay. Okay, so here we have our total ridership. Oh, sorry. What did I do? Our total ridership for this quarter is 16,420. We went down compared to last year due to hurricanes and that. We were out of service for a while. So our the TV ones. No, just break it. Yeah, okay, so the CCD. The community care for elderly, total trips are 21. Our TD trips, for the quarter, 5,499. Went a little, not too much from last year. Our agency for persons with disabilities total went down from last year's. I'm assuming most of them all went down to the hurricane.
Stormy, what does that mean? What's this agency for persons with disabilities? I don't understand.
So that's who I work for.
Okay,
We serve individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities, so those are riders who are probably, with one of those type of disabilities and utilizing transportation. That if they need to get to like work, maybe programming or just get generally around the community. So,
okay.
And that would be Meals on Wheels too, also. Our transportation to our adult day center.
Okay, thank you.
Our quarterly unduplicated passengers, out of the 16,000 was 1,075. Now we're to our trips by purpose. Our last year's total, we went down roughly 1,000 trips for medical. Dialysis went up actually. And out of those 2,000 or 16,423 trips, 1,343 were for vet trips by purpose. For the agencies, we have a total of 3,080 trips, 930 of those were ADA eligible. We did 2 assessments out of this quarter. We've only had a total of 2 complaints this quarter. One had to do with service. And one, or they both do. Policy. I see.
What would a policy complaint entail? I guess you don't mind, I mean, I get the service one could be, but what would a policy?
The policy,
Yeah,
I'm assuming,
For this specific one, I don't recall, but a policy complaint could be anything from the service area that we travel under, because we are funded through 2 different programs, one to the federal government, one to the state of Florida. It could be, we did limit the size of like a grocery wagon we're allowing on a paratransit vehicles, so we could have reviewed a complaint about that.
okay.
Or like we do have a 30-minute pickup window, so if you schedule for like a 3 p.m. trip, we can come as late as 2:45 or 3:15. Some people don't quite understand that, so just various different things.
we had a total of 12 customer accommodations. Last year we had 12. We have no unmet trips. Our pamphlet doors went up, and that had a lot to do with the hurricane, obviously. Our no shows went down. And our late cancels went down from last quarter. Our on-time performance goal is 95%. We are right now for this quarter 97%. Same as last year. Anybody have any questions?
But not related to the data here specifically, but because we had a kind of heavy hurricane season, right? I want to know, how did you guys as MCAT fare with the hurricane? Like, was there any damage? How, anything like staff?
We did, we had extensive damage, a lot of our staff pretty much remain at transit. We tried to help with the storm, we actually kind of took all of our top heavy vehicles and put them kind of surrounded around the facility. But hoping that would kind of steer the storm, not so much in our direction. We had complete roof damage, we lost entire, it was
Good.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Fiberglass was everywhere. We had a couple of leaks in the facility, so we're still trying to recover from that. Because that's all, that's grant funded, so we're trying to get that complete. Our vehicles, we reported those to the state, on some of the ones that were damaged. A lot of it was, we lost, windows, those were blown out. Couple of dents and things.
Scratches, yeah, like a lot of the roof flew everywhere.
Yeah.
Some made on vehicles, but mainly windshield, windows, a couple of windows were put out of vehicles.
Not extensive
Yeah.
flooding, but we just had
Some weeks.
Some weeks, and was I think one area where we had to pull the computer.
Yeah.
How long were you guys out of, I apologize if you guys talked about the last meeting, how long were you guys out of service for? Just out of curiosity.
We weren't technically out of
Right.
service because we do still provide like recovery and evacuation
Okay.
trips. And as soon as we were cleared and we got word from dialysis centers, we resumed dialysis trips like immediately. I think maybe a day later.
Okay,
Yeah,
Service to the island obviously was suspended for quite some time. We did have a couple buses out there to help get residents across the island. As far as full service, I think we were back full service. I think like less than 3 weeks later.
okay.
But we slowly started integrating trips back in, we started with dialysis, went to medical, work and school, and then we finally opened up to casual and everything else.
Yeah, and then we also house, you know, the families of some of our drug users,
Right.
made a kind of a section for them, you know, because they were in the line areas. And we're very appreciative of that, just
But yeah, as soon as the storm passed and daylight broke, we were back up and running, you know, we had first in teams taking out officials around the county, and then obviously we are doing evacuations of people who stayed home and then had damage and needed to go to a shelter, we were doing all of that.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with us. I mean, we usually focus on the customer service and how you help others, but again, with this many hurricanes and floodings and everything, I wanted to know how you as the agency, as or your organization, as your staff have dealt with that and what kind of effect did it have? So I appreciate everything that you do, and you know, it seems you did excellent, so.
And the nice thing about it too is DOT actually reached out to us to see how we were doing.
Yeah.
And everybody, they want a listing of everyone who had issues, and they basically sent something, just, it wasn't much, but it was enough to.
yeah, they send out gift
help
cards.
out.
Hey, sometimes just a nice word,
Yeah.
you know?
And the county approved us to like take the vehicles home to carpool, because there was a fuel shortage, and you know, we had very limited fuel for even our fleet, so.
And it was even affecting where I live in Pasco,
Right.
so.
Yeah, the gas shortage, that was like, yeah, okay, well, thank you, sorry that I took.
Yeah.
No.
Alright, so short and sweet, the registration for this last quarter, October to December. We do see some fluctuation every month, it's kind of hit or miss. I know at our next meeting, you'll probably see January's numbers are skyrocketed compared to these. The amount of applications that have been coming across my desk. So October, we had 23 people register for our system, November we had 17, December 14. As usual, the pattern's kind of the same. People don't typically take rides right away. We see them take rides like, you know, the several months after they apply. As for recertifications, we had 30 people recertify in October, 23 in November, and 28 in December. And these are all people who have been riding the system previously and are required to reapply every 3 years. And then you'll see, I thought I took Longboat Key out of there. I guess I didn't. But we have our Port Manatee shuttle we had. 2 people registered in November and 1 in December. And then agencies and miscellaneous, that can be anything from, we have a program through the county, community care for the elderly. We also we partner with Medicaid and those that are on a Medicaid waiver to take them to like Easter seals and Sunrise. So the agency, and then October's miscellaneous is significantly high with 155 because we register people in order to take them from their home to a shelter.
Makes sense.
And so, you know, we have 2 and 1 respectively for November and December, which is the typical we would see. So overall with our new registers, our recertifications, we've had 296 for the quarter. And then for overall for the entire year, 1,035. This is a little bit broken down more by month for the entire year. So you can see for the entire year, 2024, we had a total of 400 clients apply for our service, which is up from 2023. And it breaks it down to how many have taken trips within those months within those quarters that they applied, as well as any, personal care attendants or escorts. So through January through December, we had 74, people, escorts, take trips within their respective quarters that they applied. And then at the bottom, you'll see kind of a breakdown on why maybe they didn't take a trip the first month, within the month they registered. So they registered towards the end of the month, maybe it's for the next month. Some apply just as secondary, or they'll, if they know they're having like a procedure and can't drive for a while, they'll do like a temporary service. And then, and the other, we don't decline service per se, but if those have Medicaid, they do have to use Medicaid's transportation services, they will Medicaid. For medical purposes, but we can take them to other destinations, or we have an out of zone area that, you have to be qualified under one program to receive service in. Our application is combined, and we've talked about it before, so if you're approved for ADA, you're kind of automatically approved for, transportation disadvantage, because the qualifications are also by disability, age, or income. And then you can see at the bottom, have booked since, a follow-up call, or since they applied for the service. So for the first quarter, 17, second quarter, 24, third, 25, this last quarter, 8, for a total of 74. That number probably realistically is higher, because I really do, my team and I really do only check like the month after, just depending on when we do our reporting. Any questions?
I have a question, just out of curiosity, Medicaid provider for those clients getting a medical service, medical, so Medicaid provider.
We have. Like for those who have Medicaid or medical trips, I guess it depends on who their Medicaid is through. I know that they have like Sunshine or Humana, they use different providers. I think the typical one is
There's Logistic Care, there's TMS, and there's another one.
something M something.
Well, that's MTM.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
The current spec requirements on MCAT restrict how many bags of groceries at a time?
So it's not restricted by number per se. We do ask that clients only buy groceries with what they can carry on and off the bus. We do allow a typical grocery cart, like they're this tall, skinny, like metal.
Do you have specs on that as to what generally it should look like?
Yeah, we do. I don't have them with me, but I can absolutely provide that for you.
All I'm thinking is for new people that are coming into the system and aren't familiar with all the things that transit does. Having been a rider of paratransit every day for the last years and watching what goes on in this bus, typically seems to happen. The driver is asked to go to a Walmart and pick up grandma who goes to the grocery store twice a month. Because that's when her retirement checks come in. And she invariably at Walmart, since they love to put one item in a bag, she brings out 35 bags to put on the bus. Well, it consumes enormous for the driver to deal with. It doesn't make for a very safe situation in the bus because you can't really secure all these bags successfully. And I just wondered if there was a way that we could, MCAT, to put out specs that we can encourage.
They are on all of our buses. I mean, we can double check that it's still there, but we did add, we did add what's allowed and what's not allowed because people were bringing like really long beach wagons, which is taking up like wheelchair security stations and things like that. So we prohibit those, but there are like the typical people, like Google like a grocery cart, it's like a tall,
tall.
yeah. And we really don't have too many incidents where clients are bringing excessive groceries like that. It does happen, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't. We do our best to accommodate and then educate the clients. I mean, I think the most recent incident we had, someone wanted like multiple cases of water from Sam's Club. Which is like, it's hard, we're in a difficult position, like in, especially with my team. Because, you know, this is their only transportation and like you said, they may only have funds once or twice a month to go. But we also have to think about the safety of our passengers, our drivers, like while securing everything.
Right,
So it is the rider's responsibility to control the items that they bring on. But our drivers can secure like the grocery cart if room is available.
yeah, the grocery cart the ones that I've seen are exactly what needs to be on the bus. Because you can control it, you can tie it down and secure it on the bus, so there's nothing rolling around the floors or causing a hazard. I finally went out and bought one myself that has 4 wheels on it. So it's stable for me because I have a tendency to fall, so it's like a little grocery cart, only it's smaller. And I can fit a lot of groceries in it. I've seen the ones you talk about with 2 wheels. And as long as you don't need a lot, it's fine, but
Right.
If you need a lot of groceries, you're kind of screwed, so. But if we can somehow, I know it's on the bus for people to read it, but you have to get on the bus. If they were presented to them at the time when they sign up for services.
Yeah, it's in the brochure, it's in our ride guide brochures that is sent out when we send an approval letter.
It's in the brochure.
Okay, if you want, if you have flyers on that, just make it accessible to us and we'll send it to.
Yeah,
to
absolutely,
everybody and
we can do that.
try to disperse it that way.
Okay. And can a new rider request a familiarization visit to transit if they've never ridden on a bus before? And they're faced with having been on paratransit, can they ask to come to transit to see how the bus works and, you know, instructions on how you secure a seat so they can see it for themselves, they can be comfortable with it? Is that possible?
I don't think we've ever had anyone ask that before. I mean, the drivers are really great at helping passengers on and off the bus and securing. So the drivers will secure the wheelchair and a grocery cart themselves, like we don't allow clients to do that. And they can also assist them with like the seatbelts and things like that.
Well, one time it was required when you applied for service, that you had to spend a short amount of time for an evaluation where they could see what the particular problem was and show you how, because sometimes if your balance is bad or you're unsure on your feet and you step on that lift and the first time it jerks and moves, you see the show of fear on their face.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's like a bad carnival ride, and I just wondered if at the beginning, as a familiarization offer, to come out to the yard and we'll show you how all this works. So when you call for services, that's not the first time you find out how all this operates.
I mean, that's
That's the
something
driver's left trying to decide.
we could possibly arrange something like that through our travel trainer, who
I was
actually
gonna say,
teaches
is there a
them
training program?
right through the fixed route.
Fixed
We
route.
Actually, never had that request for parent, but if we could probably have Katie's group implement that. Just when they're doing the registration process to see, if they would like to see how the mechanics of the inside of the bus work.
It would be great if it was a question, if you'd be interested in seeing. So that I don't have to have you come out and do it, if you feel comfortable with, that's fine. But if you don't, if you feel at all questionable about how the heck does this thing work?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Would a compromise be maybe the first trip that rider take, you add a buffer of 10-15 minutes to the schedule to maybe take that, or is it easier for you guys to have them come to the agency for that?
We could, I mean, just to, because a lot of, well, some of the clients that we receive, they're already utilizing services elsewhere in different locations. So if they're unfamiliar with that environment, we can possibly see with our scheduler to see if they can arrange that buffer in there to allow. But it also depends on our resources that we have, because we're short drivers.
If that person needs paratransit, how do they get to the
That's what I was just getting ready to
paratransit
say.
to see that, the process,
take our-
you know, how do you get there for that first time? You don't have a ride.
I was saying, because how would they get?
When I applied, they sent a bus out to pick me up.
Right.
They took me into the yard, and they did the evaluation on me on the yard with my walker, and then they showed me the bus and how it worked.
So what you're referring to is the assessment. We actually, that's on a case-by-case basis. It's through, you know, your eligibility process. If we need to bring you in, then that's where we would do that part of it. The majority of our clients, because a lot of the information that we receive from the doctor, there's no need to do that because it's justifiable to why they have that disability.
Okay.
I just go, I know Kim, but I think like where Rick's getting to is I think you're going with like, you guys are so used to the transportation that I don't think you're really understanding maybe the anxieties that somebody who
Right.
utilizes the chair or have unstable balance of like, you go on to these and it's old hat for you guys, but like, could you spare 5-10 minutes so that to try to comfort the new rider? That I think at times it's like understanding that they could be anxious. They you know, they qualify for this due to like a disability and it's like. They need maybe that if they, even just an option that like, so they can feel comfortable and that's, I think, more to where we're, is that.
I'm guilty of that, dealing directly or indirectly with the agencies for the last 8 years now. Sounds ridiculous to think. I never even thought about
We do get calls from new clients. We do get calls from new clients that maybe have never ridden paratransit before, like anywhere. And we come and walk them through the process of how it works over the phone. If they're requesting, you know, an in-person, like to come to the yard, that's something that we could arrange. It's not a matter of like, can we do it or not? But like they brought up, how are they getting to the yard?
We'd have to
So
pick 'em.
if they're gonna find their own ride there, or are we sending a handy bus to their house, so.
Yeah, exactly. If you could arrange it so that a handy bus came to the house, that would be great. Then you're doing it in their environment.
Mhm.
Or not even
Some of
that,
them don't have the space.
what would
Right.
kind of save pretty much everything is in the past for fixed route service, we've used kind of, you know, marketing, we have like within our county government. We could actually have a video that shows how to utilize the service, which I
Yes,
think
another-
that would suffice, having our bus come out, having us go there, wait
Absolutely.
for 5 minutes. If you had a video that you could
Right.
send them or a link that they could go to show them how to use the bus.
That's a great idea and that limits how much you have to get it. If the user feels confident with that, then God bless you. But you know, if you need extra help, then at least we're here to do that.
Right,
We can arrange that.
and that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and I think the video is great, but I think even like,
Yes.
it was like,
That's an
even
alternative.
5, give somebody like their first trip an extra 5 minutes to ask questions to like. Not like understand that, like, they're not just gonna run right on the bus and even after a video of like,
The other problem is that the driver's under pressure to stay
Yes.
on his manifest.
Right,
If you send him out as an extra stop with a new person, plus all the other things he's gotta do, immediately he's gonna be behind.
right,
And that means the next 3 steps are gonna be late.
Yep. And that's a domino effect of complaints, so.
Yes.
yeah.
Joel still doing probably.
Yes, yes.
Well, I was gonna give a brief update on the Manatee Moves program.
Sure.
This is directed at designed for veterans with trips provided, medical trips, dental trips, and trips to the veteran services. The service started January 7th, and during the month of January, we had 10 trips provided. Between February 1st and today, 4 trips have been provided. And they did do a public, the Manatee County Public Information Office did a video, so I'll just play that video. This is the first user that has used this service coming up on HKDF. I think Jack said there are about 300 people that are signed up for it.
300 people, yeah.
So it's growing, so
When the word gets out there, with the veterans talking to each other and finding out, I expect it to, grow rapidly.
Is it available for dependents? Their wife of a veteran that's deceased?
No,
No,
Just a veteran.
but the wife can ride with it.
With the veteran.
Yes.
Not just.
Or personal care inspectors.
Is that for medical appointments here in Manatee County, correct?
Medical and dental.
Medical, dental, and service to the veteran services, if you need to go to veteran service.
And is that if you can't get a ride with paratransit or?
No.
No, this
you
is for
decide-
veterans.
You decide which one you want to use. And you also can take it to one of our transit stations to catch the route 2 or 3, which goes through the Bay Lines.
And is there a fee for that?
No, it's free.
Free, okay. Thank you.
I think that's really interesting. It sounds like a great program. I'd be interested to see how it grows though, hearing there's 300 people signed up and so far the trips look to be low. And that could just be the start of the program, but I think it would be valuable to have a report on this each meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And is this just within Manatee County or do they really pick them up in Pinellas and bring them back?
Just Manatee County.
Just Manatee, because I know back in last year at some point, we had that discussion, like you sitting in St. Pete for so long, waiting for your ride back. Okay.
Progress, though.
Absolutely,
And it could be expanded,
right.
Yeah.
if it works, we'll see.
Will there be a brochure about that? Is that something that you could take, we could take out to the local clinic on 64?
Yes, we pick that.
For information for vets and
Do we
everything?
have a brochure? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
We don't have a brochure.
No, we do. We have an
We have a
informational
brochure.
packet. Yeah.
I don't have any.
Have to make note of this.
It'd be very good information for assisted living facilities.
Yes, we do outreach and go to all of them.
Great.
And our outreach coordinator's talking to all those. We're trying to get them in the doctor's offices, so the staff there know that instead of the veterans can get there, they're passing it out. We got it out at the local clinic, so it's gonna grow. I think it's gonna grow a lot.
What do you guys feel like the
Many of our
capacity?
clients are veterans.
Don't
That's
know
another
yet.
one you provide a little.
The services provided through Uber, so.
Oh, so, okay, so
It's like
whatever the Uber drivers.
the mobile app is similar to the
Okay.
mobile Uber app, where you can, hail the trip and.
So it's like you guys contact your Uber available driver then to come get them.
We have a software provider.
Yeah, or however, yeah, oh, that's cool, so it is kind of limitless of, I guess to Uber drivers, so that's cool.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't say limitless, it's free, so that means there's budget.
Right,
We have no money, right?
I just know, cause I'm just good, cause we had a similar program in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, but this is just for individuals with disabilities. But it started slow and then it once the word got out, it mushroomed past capacity. And we ran through the dollars, in 6 months, they were supposed to last a year. And it was it's such a great service, so that's where they did other drivers, so they didn't contract through Uber, but it was nothing, the word got out and then it grew beyond what capacity could handle and. So that was more where I was coming from, so it's nice to hear that they were smart and utilizing Uber drivers, and not trying to find their own. Cause that was kind of the bane of
In
that,
theory, we started with a smaller population of the Pinellas, right?
yeah,
So hopefully we'll be able to, maintain service to that smaller population to start.
In the video, I saw an Explorer that was wrapped, I think, in the video.
Tahoe, yeah. Veteran
Oh,
services.
that's
Tahoe.
veteran service.
That's their first.
Okay, that's what I was saying, like, are you
That's
having
kind of-
a person wrapped it? I was like, oh, no.
Just for the video part.
cool, well, thank you, any more questions for MCAT, or? Seeing none, we are going to move on to 6B, which is the FDOT report by Victoria.
Okay, good morning. I don't have a whole lot today. The due date for grant applications for this federal fiscal year was December 13th. We got 37 of those in. Right now we're reviewing all of them. And then within this area, we got applications for MCAT for the 3310 program and then Sunrise Community for 5310 program as well. And then on our perennial reviews, we don't have any that are going on at this time or that are upcoming before our next meeting. But we did just complete our perennial review for Sunrise and then for Meals on Wheels Plus. They're both compliant. That's all I have to do.
Thank you, Victoria. Any questions for her? Seeing none, moving right along to 6C, to Mr. David Machado for the MPO staff report.
I just have a few minor things. Sure, you've all seen that we had to move a few meetings around. So obviously, this one you already know is today, but it was previously scheduled in January. We're thinking about using this schedule moving forward, because from feedback we've received from not so much NCAT, but our other transit agency, Sarasota Breeze. It works better with the timelines as to when you have to submit documentations and stuff like that. So I'm sure you guys appreciate that. I would have liked to know that a little bit before, but
Allows a little more time.
so if that works for you, then we would probably move forward with doing that in the future. We also moved the May meeting. We had moved it to June 11th. But we received feedback from the commission that that's a week where the FPTA, the professional development workshop is gonna be. So it's from what we received is gonna be tentatively from the 9th through the 11th. And that would have fell, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Through the 11th, so we moved the meeting to the week before, to June 4th, to allow for everybody that's gonna attend the development workshop. Be able to. We are thinking about doing the evaluations sometime April, May. So that would give us a little bit of time there also. And one last thing is, we all didn't know, Lindsay, which was our planning assistant coordinator for the meetings, she had a baby boy. She was on leave and she decided that it was in best interest for her and her family to stay home to take care of the baby. We are hiring somebody. We actually went through the rounds of interviews. And we have somebody that's starting next Monday. Her name is Michelle Washburn. So be on the lookout for emails from her. I know Rachel's been filling in. I'm sure she appreciates us having somebody take over that. Obviously, there'll be a transition period and a training period, so we ask for patience and understanding while she learns the ropes. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions for us, I know Rachel is gonna hand out the flyers for the veterans trip. And any other information that you guys need to disseminate with the members here, just send it to us and we'll forward it to everybody if it makes everybody's life easier. I think that's it for me.
Any questions for David? Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, go ahead.
No, for the Manatee Moves program, they have to get registered and they have to produce a DD 214 to show that they are an honorably discharged veteran. And our office does that. If they don't have the documentation, we can order it, but without that, they're not getting in Manatee.
Where do they register?
Yes, on that.
Yes.
With veteran services, they have to verify.
Sense. All right, it is It is everybody's favorite time we get to hear from you guys, once around the table. Rick, we'll go around, anything to ask for the good of the order?
Also,
All right. Brendan, anything to Medicaid?
Not much.
For me, nothing on the department side as far as the changes or anything like that, but I'm looking to bring like my backup person from the Adult Protective Services. So they're onboarding right now, somebody who's gonna serve like an outreach and community coordinator, whatever the title may be. So hopefully by the next meeting, we will be able to bring them on board and you guys can meet them, because I think this information is really valuable to them. So for so much, time, I have been trying to get somebody to come and, kind of help me out, because as Brett know, we can't always be here. I had like 6 meetings scheduled between 9 and 11. Yeah, I can only do 1 and 2, and that's it. But, I think this would be very beneficial for the group.
Who knows, if you miss the next one, you may become the vice chair.
There you go.
Smart, I'm gonna bring them back.
That's right.
I've learned so much.
That's right.
No updates from me. Good meeting today though, Brett. Yes.
I think the veterans service.
No, Meals on Wheels, we're just waiting for our new vehicle.
There you go.
Go, it's coming. Mr. Trump leaves the money there.
So my only thing, I have a question.
But-
Oh, sorry, Sam, I thought you were. Oh,
Gonna say because I was skipped.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Anita.
Jack just took your glory away.
Basically just went through a whole new system upgrade from 18 to 21. He's seen the results of that, Mr. Wellenberg. And we're still going through we have our training next week on the new software, and we're kind of trying to get out some bugs that we're having issues with, but so far so good. It's working well for us.
So my, oh, go
I
ahead, Tim.
didn't get a chance, but I just wanted to let people know if you have clients or family members who were affected by the hurricanes or have been long-term unemployed, and for that definition, it'd be 6 weeks of being unemployed. Resource has a lot of grants for employment. We have some partnerships in the community that are taking these people, the people, and they're being paid through this grant for administering that. So just have them get a hold of me or Career Source and ask about the disaster grant employment.
Thank you, Kim.
Benita, I just got a message on my phone. Manatee County Area Transit, your ride will be arriving soon at MPO, estimated 11:08.
There
There you go.
So it works, guys.
Heads up.
Nothing new really in APD. My question is to the good of the group, because we have a lot of new faces and it sounds like we have a new chairperson. Would we want to go back to doing like once a meeting, like what our agencies do? It kind of brought up like when Rick goes, what is APD?
Right.
Then you go of like, we have new faces and do that. Is that something we would want to come back to, where once a meeting, we alternate who kind of gives like a brief 10-15 minutes on our agency, who we represent and why we are sitting at the table. But we have a lot of new faces, so I was just, if that's something we would be interested in.
It's up to you then.
Why did it stop?
I think it's just sort of, I think why it stopped, in my opinion, is that we kind of ran through, a lot of us are sort of frequent flyers here, and we all went, and it's like, but then seeing just some new faces, from even the agencies that presented, it's just something I just am throwing to the good of the order. It doesn't have to start at the next meeting, or just if we want to think about it.
It's a good idea.
I'll even guinea pig, I'll do the first one, I'll do June's, I'll do an little APD overview in June, so that, just so, I think even a lot of times, because I know like Alita and our agencies work a lot together, a lot of times what we think each agency does isn't always necessarily what we do. And I think it's, even if you go, we kind of have an idea of what each other do, to actually probably get 10-15 minutes and a little more in depth, I think is valuable. Are we good with it? Okay.
You guys are kind of getting hours next, in the June meeting, because we gotta do the workshop, so.
Oh, do we want to then take, is June's gonna be late? Well, then let's think about it, well, let's
Right.
because June meeting, we have the workshop, and I know we're all that. But just something to think about as we see new faces, that maybe then the third quarter meeting that, something to think about, we don't wanna overpack it, I know we're all busy people, so, but. Oh, yes, for those if you please introduce yourself and if you.
Well, I'm always here, but from the vocational rehabilitation in Palmetto. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Dr. Edward Hernandez, Director of the Department of Health.
Oh, very cool.
My apologies for being.
Oh, no apology needed, we're happy to have you guys, so, excellent.
If you don't mind me, I just, I think this November meeting, I said a delegate, but just wanted to extend my appreciation to my partners. I always amazed about the work they do, especially during the 3 shelters duty that we had this year. Activation and demobilization is always the hardest part of the process, and they're great partners to work with, and not only in our relationship with us, but also the way that we treat our clients. It's really amazing to see. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll see you in June. Anything else for the good of the order? Seeing nothing, we are adjourned at 10:55. 10:50, well, we just made it under 10:56. We have never been once. We have not gotten a great. We will be part of, I believe, in the summer, is that like a. David, or some people, probably the new person will send out. I think it was at,
Are you gonna be here for Sarasota too or not? No, you just